say on our card is out in Bedford, Mass. We are a manufacturer's rep for water and wastewater treatment equipment. Hayward Gordon is one of about 40 companies that we represent. We also represent Sanitaire, Polychem, Loose Blowers, Deserve Valves, EIMX, Motor Actuators. There's a whole list of companies we represent. What I'm here to talk about today is obviously your submersible chopper pumps. We'll start out with those first. The other thing I do have to say right now is although this is being taped, or my training, if you will, is being taped, it does not take away from the O&M manual, all the instructions in the O&M manual. So don't just refer back to the tape, always use the manual, because I may glance over something in the training that's in the manual that's going to be more meaningful to you than this tape. Okay? So basically what we have is you've got the Hayward Gordon chopper pump. Okay. What it's got inside is the chopper impeller. Okay. What this pump does is it alleviates the need for a grinder upstream of the pump itself. It will chop into small manageable pieces, golf balls, rags, solids, won't chop rocks, but it'll chop sizable pieces down so that it's a flowable portion. In behind the impeller, if you look in this section right here, there's a spiral vein in there that gets swept clean by that impeller, so you don't have any binding in behind that impeller of the unit itself. You've got a submersible setup, which they don't show except for on the back page right here. Submersible for totally submerged operation. The main thing there, like any other submerged pump, is to make sure you keep the motor submerged at all times. You don't keep the motor submerged, that's how it cools itself. If it can't cool itself, you're going to wind up with potential motor overload, potential seal failure. There is a leak detection in that motor setup that will show you if you've had a seal failure or where the cable, the power cable enters into the unit itself. Also shows you the curve for the pump itself, right here. Pump designed 200 gallons a minute at 60 feet ahead. Right here. Okay. This pump will pump in either direction as a submersible pump, actually as any centrifugal pump. If it is rotating incorrectly, it will pump. You just won't get the flow. You might get 100 gallons a minute, 90 gallons a minute. If that's the case, you just reverse the leads. These have been checked ready for rotation.
No, they have not.
They have. Okay, we'll check them. We'll check them at some point today before I get out of here. Basically, you've got the exploded view information. Today, so. Here's a list of everything we have with that. Next, you have the Scum mixer. Again, Hayward Gordon is the manufacturer of the mixer. Don't have any more copies of this. This is the only one I have here. On the front of their instruction manual, it gives you the tag, it gives you the serial number of the unit itself. Gives you the reduction ratio of the gearing. Again, you know, the moving piece is the impeller blades. which will confirm, but it's either going to be this first one here, or the PB, either the HP or the PBT impeller blade. Basically rotates inside the tank, forces, keeps the scum moving, brings it up, and forces it down so that you can remove it out of the tank with the chopper, with the submersible chopper pump. They are in the same tank. Basically, the moving piece is the shaft, the paddle blades, and you have the gearing and the motor up above. Okay. About once a year, take the tank down, make sure all those, make sure A, all the impellers are still on here, all the blades are still on there, and B, you want to make sure that all your bolts are tight to those impeller blades. Okay. One of the operating functions of these units is you want the unit to be stationary when the tank is filled. You don't want to have the impeller turning as the liquid is coming up through the tank. Okay. I believe there are float switches in there. Yes. Correct. Okay. And what that'll do is that'll have the mixer will be off when the material is entering the tank. It gets up to a certain level, float switch kicks it on, starts mixing. Again, I think, from a controls aspect, I get to ask this question on just about every training I do, whether it's the pumps, blowers, aeration, what turns it on and off, how does it feed into the SCADA system? I have no idea. We supply what's in that tank, how it's controlled by your system or anything else.
It's going to have a limit switch where it comes on.
Limit switch where it comes on, limit switch where it shuts off. Again, I would imagine the pumps are the same way. The switch when they, float switch when it gets to a certain level, it's going to pump the tank down, so you only wind up with X feet of stuff in the tank.
It's all traced back to CPP too, so that's where this will all be turned on and off.
In the manual, in this manual here, yes. Basically, this is the main workings of the unit. It's got the gear reducer that houses the motor, and it's got the shaft of the mixer that comes up. You have a problem or I have a problem? Question?
What about operator tells us that they cannot pump scum and sludge at the same time? If these come on automatically, they still have no sludge pumps are running.
Right now, we're having a problem when they pump the scum. It just shuts down the scum pumps automatically.
Okay. That's a sequence that I have nothing to do with. So I mean, it's, again, that's.
I know you have to look at the.
Yeah,
Sure.
so it's going to be different. You'll probably be able to maybe the scum with the sludge is 6, and 40 scum should be 6, and sludge should be 6.
Yeah, well, now you get your discharge pipe on the sludge is 10, down to 6, back up to 10.
That goes, yeah, then you the scum is 4.
Yeah.
And I don't
We have a problem with that.
So basically, go through, you dilute your impeller, disintegrator, cutter plate, everything's in there from the previous page. Shows everything, this is right down in here with all the pieces of parts that you need. Obviously, the pump slides down on the rail, there's a data frame that's been provided to lift that pump out of there for service, rolling it down. Don't do it with the power cable. If you do it with the power cable, obviously the potential is there. The rest of the steel has a power cable and it's into that motor.
You want to make the information in the one of the evaluation.
I believe it is.
you guys have spare nameplates? You know, say
I can get one for you.
we can look at that way. If we haven't carried these motors over the years, then you gotta go down and get the numbers off, you can't read them.
Yep.
I'd like to possibly get that for every pump that we have, when we get through, you guys get a spare nameplate with it.
Okay. I can put it for that, that should be good. For the pump or for the motor?
For everything.
For everything, okay. Normally, the nameplate information is in the owner manual on the pump portion.
Yeah.
The motor is a little bit different, so I will get that for you.
Shop drawings probably would be able to help us out a little bit, so it is.
Yeah, I will pull the shop drawing, I can pass that on to CDM, and they can give it to you.
Thank you.
In there, that you do have a little bit of information on that Alliance motor. Give you the frame size, which is 210 T wide. And then I'll give you all the dimensional information. And then the next page shows you the horsepower, type P, all this information. This is probably more what you need right here.
Yeah.
Give you all the pieces.
Yeah.
What we not give you is serial numbers of the unit itself. So we can find that out. We'll get that for you. Obviously, like the control panel, the control panel for this setup. Waiting to line your proper protection of the motor control panel must, as a minimum, contain the following component: thermal protection system and a moisture detection system, which it does have in there. Motor wiring diagrams on the next page, pages down. The next page shows you the pump seal failure detector that's in there. If you do get any type of fluid into that sealed area, you're going to have this setup, I believe, will show a light on the control panel. I was reading in there, after initial startup, in case there's any condensation buildup, you want to have that on. You don't want to have that on for too long. They said about 48 hours. If it goes for 48 hours with that light on, then the light goes out, then you're all set. If that stays on, then you have a problem. You got to pull the pump up out of the hole and take it and check on the pump itself.
The light has no audio, yes.
After initial start. Okay, and then after that, initial start of 48 hours after that, then it comes on. It's been in there, it's been in the chute for a while, and then it's time to take a look at it. A couple more pages down, you got a maintenance. General Alliance Source Motors utilizing explosion-proof Class 1 Group C and D tandem seal with an oil chamber set to separate from the winding area. Wound stators Alliance Motors utilize a wound stator which has been pressed into the frame. The stator insulation system has been designed for temperature and electrical rating involved. It's in two oils. Manufacturers Sun Oil, Standard Oil, Shell Oil. Three that are right in there. And mechanical repairs you did
On
that.
the oil, can we cross-reference that with different
Yeah.
companies?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're following,
They call.
62 SAE tender. I mean, obviously you got a large plant, you got a lot of pieces of equipment, so, I mean, I know, the roots blowers need a certain oil, non-detergent or a synthetic. And we'll talk about the oils on the mixer as well. Next page is the thermal detection system for that motor itself. That's just checking it. Thermostat gauge marked B1 and B2 must be connected in series with the stop button on 3 wires to the pilot circuit of the magnetic motor controller so that the thermostat will open the circuit before dangerous temperatures are reached. Again, that, you run into that problem if you don't have that motor submerged. The motor's got to be submerged at all times. Plus it helps the pump, because then you have suction head on top of the pump itself. Moisture detection system, moisture sensing probe leads marked W1, W2 must be used in conjunction with the induction related device will detect moisture entering the oil chamber due to failure of the outer seal when properly connected to a warning device will provide notification needed maintenance integrity system require periodic tests. With the moisture detector on the next page, the type 2800. I'll have to get you what the three X's mean. It's either 115 volt, 230 volt, 480 volt. Then you have the contact configuration, that is A through J, either normal, open, normal, closed, and then the NEMA type enclosure. I'll have to get that information for you. Standard replacement seals on page 9. Again, it's not marked here, I'll have to get that information from the seals. And then the last section is the data crane for lifting the unit in and out of the hole. Maintenance on the crane, once the new lubricant should be added to the ship axle and socket, and socket to be kept clear of debris. Winch and ship should be kept clear of cable carrying debris. Looks like it's the D2B36D. The crane towards the end of it. So it's DB portable hoist. And that's how it was. That's basically it. Not a want to it. It is a submersible chopper pump. We're just going to chop up what enters into it. If it binds up, you'll know you'll wind up having a trip setting on your MCC. Again, if that happens, you got to pull that out of the hole, check and see what's causing the problem. So, do we have any questions?
The rail system, was that ordered with the pump?
Randy, did you guys provide the rail system, or did Hayward provide the rail system?
We provide rail system.
Why Hayward Gordon didn't know. Up in a little bit of background on Hayward Gordon. Hayward Gordon is a manufacturer of pumps and mixes. Up in Canada, they're out of Mississauga, Ontario. Up in Canada, they work a little bit different in that equipment manufacturers are also manufacturers reps. So they pull in other lines. Guy called me up there, they said, Hayward's got a progressive cavity pump. So no, they don't make a pump like that. You go to their website and there's a progressive cavity pump, and it's someone else's, but they sell it throughout their area in Canada. So that's just the way it is. So from an equipment standpoint,